This week on Ken's Tech Lab, this is the 4th episode of the PRUSA MK4 build. We're continuing that build on the bench. Stay tuned. Alright, here we are back on the bench. We're ready to continue the MK4 by PRUSA build. So I haven't seen any comments on any of these build videos yet, and I'm looking for, of course, if the 1 hour that it's looking to be 1.5 hours is too long or too short, and I should extend this and build more per session, or maybe build less per session. So last time I was assembling the X carriage, and we got to a point and the audio went out, and I did not know it, so I had to overdub it after the fact during edit to finish that video up. This week we shouldn't have that issue. For one thing is that the batteries are full. The second thing is that I now have a big monitor that I actually can see what I'm showing you and what you're seeing on video. So with that said, let's continue. Last time, actually during the last video I cut it out, but I did do this black X carriage. It is out. I don't think I put any screws in it or nothing during that time. I think I just got out of the package. So that's our piece of plastic that we're working with. And we're going to need a few X carriage spacers. And I believe they are in this bag. So if you see the picture that I'm going to put up, you're going to see that we require, during this part of the process, these little spacers, and that's going to be 3 of them. They almost look like the same spacers that I'm going to be using on the heat bed, on the MK3 when I did that one. There is the 3 spacers. We need M3 end nuts times 2, and those are the hex nuts. Let's get out 2 of those. These are right here. Okay. 2 hex nuts. 3 M3 by 10s. That is the most normal of the screws that we're going to be using because it comes with the most of them. And we only need 3 of those. I'll leave this out for now. And we want 8 square nuts. So let's go into the square nuts. Square nuts with hex. There they are. I'm saying we just used them, I believe, last episode. Alright. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Too many. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. And I believe that we'll be putting all these parts into that plastic piece for now and for the future installations for it. I was only over by 2, which was not bad. Okay. Back. Okay, assemble the X carriage, which it says locate the protrusions for the X carriage part and insert 3NS nuts into the square holes. So we're going to follow the instructions, and it looks like it wants to be like in this direction right here. And we're going to put one at the top. Needle nose pliers. Take it and push it down inside the hole until it can't go no further. And to know that we have it right, we can look inside the hole that's right here, the screw hole, and make sure that it's fully seated so we can put the screw in there. Alright, the next one goes in sideways on the top, right next to it. Alright, put it on the other side. And that one I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but you can see right through it. Okay. Next picture. Taking it and turning it like this. There is one in the front, another square nut. I looked a little bit to see if it was all the way down, and now it is. One in the front. And sometimes they spin right out of it. But it's been worse. They can go on the floor, get lost, never see them again. There we go. Okay, perfect. And back onto the top on the other side, we have one more. And this one I can't get my fingers in to actually get it down, so we're going to use the needle nose to go in the hole to be able to set it inside the area, let it go, and turn around and get it inside the hole. A little tight on that one. Good. Alright, got another one right there. So there's one here, here, and here. Alright, what else? So it looks like on the other, or the other side, where this groove is, and turned this way, we have one here, here, and that's it. So one right there. I think I said this before, is that these parts are printed at PRUSA. So they're not always going to be easy to get stuff in. Their tolerances are very good, but just sometimes there might be a little piece of plastic or something that's stopping it from going all the way down. So you have to force it sometimes. Sometimes they're really tight. Okay. I'm just going to try to press it in just a hair more. Just to make sure that it looks like it's fully seated in there. Okay. I have one more square nut left, but let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this side. 6, 7. Yeah, not 8, so we'll see where the number 8 goes. So the hex screws, or as they call them, what are they? M3N nuts. When they go in, sometimes, most of the time, they don't go in all the way, especially if there's a deep place where they need to go down. So you usually can tell if it's the place where they go because the hole is cut out for that same hex look. So here there is one right here and one above over here. So we're going to put this in. And like the instructions say, you can use, and I do think it's a good idea, you can use a nut, so, or a screw. Just take this and put it through. Screw it on, and then pull it through. A lot of times that will seat it just perfectly in there. And sometimes it doesn't. Let's see if I use. That screw is not going to do it. I'm going to do this one like this because I need to make sure that it's in there straight, and that when we get to this part, it's really going to pull itself, you know, where I can put a screw into it without losing it. So doing it this way will actually pull that screw straight down into the hole where we needed it. And it is now flush down inside the place. It just takes a little bit longer to do it like this, but it's guaranteed to be correct. And probably when you get to a part that you're actually going to use a screw in this, you want these to be right, because if not, you'll be tearing it back down further than you needed to. All right, we're gonna do the same thing. This side is actually, this has a kind of an overlap over here, and the nut is underneath that, so I really don't have much pulling power. So what I'm going to do is take this nut here and do the same thing with the screw. To make it a little bit easier, I try to do as much by hand. And turn this to the wrong way. Okay. Get it down. It pulls it right inside. Okay. And now that is down. Back it back out. Alright, those two are in. That is the first picture of this. Now what's next? Okay, turning this over on the other side. Like that. So it wants us to take, and on this hole, there's a hole right here. It really wants us just to put an M3 by 10, we got 3 of these out, down in that hole, and make sure that it's poking out the other side. That's what it wants. And it is poking out the other side. Okay, so this is where one of the standoffs are going to go. So what we need to do is push it to the other side, hold it on the other side, take a standoff. And I believe it wants the standoff to be pushed down inside the, sort of like a holder for the nut. Okay. That is in there. It must be perfectly in there and not rotate. It's not going to rotate, that's for sure. Okay, attaching the spacers, which we've already attached to one spacer. So it looks like coming from the same side over here on the side which has the indentation, not the side that has the half horseshoe. It looks like it wants another M3 by 10. 2 locations here. And just sticking through. To make sure that we can get a spacer attached to them. And sometimes it's easier said than done. Let's see if we can put it on here first. There we go. And we go over to the other picture, we're putting just more spacers on. And since it's so close to the wall, it's not going to turn, so you're going to have to use the screw side. The wall itself right here is like an L, and it's going to hold that spacer from turning. Okay, one more, it's on the other side. And this one I'm going to have to actually use, this is not long enough. So I'm going to have to go over to the Allen key, push that all the way through with an Allen key. And it's got the same L kind of connector on that side too, where you're not going to be able to turn the spacer. You're only going to be able to turn the nut. Nice and tight in there. Give it one more good heave ho. Alright, now we have a spacer here, a spacer here, and a spacer here. So we have 3 of them now in this part. Alright, now it needs the X carriage clip. And the X carriage clip is this other plastic piece right here. And you'll know it by the slots that are through both sides of it. And the X-axis X carriage bag is complete. I'm going to look back and make sure I didn't make a mistake or miss something due to the fact that I do have one nut, one square nut, and just going over my work. One here, one here. Found the other one. And no, this is not in play. Okay. The other one was right here, hiding from us on the other side here. My eyes must have skipped right over it in the instructions. So we're just going to go and put this in like that. Perfect. Yay! Good. Now we're not missing any. Okay, we can go back to the spacer, assembling the X carriage clip. Parts preparation. It wants 3x10s. It wants 4 of them. It wants 2 of those rubber, do I have any more of those in this bag? None. This bag. Rubber pads. There were 6 of them in here. And we put 3 of them, no, 2 of them, 2, 4, so there should be 2 left. To find them. Found them. Won't take too long. Okay. 2 of those. And that's the end of that bag. Alright, we have the parts out. Now let's see what we do. The back of this, I don't know if you would say back, the interior of the round edges has a cutout for the pads, just like the when we did the bearings. So it wants you to put these rubber pads and fit them into the spot. Like that. Now hopefully we don't have to slide this over something due to the fact that last time we slid it, it took us a while to get it where it would stay in place and not fall off. Okay. That's in the way. Alright, I know you can't see them, I don't think, with the black, but you see there used to be slits right there. Now they're covered with the black rubber. I still say that's for, you know, a kind of shaking to help place the X-axis assembly orientated as shown. And of course you guys will have a picture right there in front of you, where so this will be the one on top, one bearing, 2 on the bottom. Okay, like that. And the only orientation picture, well, let me look down, there's actually another picture here. Shows that they wanted to go here. So like get it right. Here. Okay. So you have 2 bearings going to go in here, like that. And 1 bearing that's going to be sliding right in there. Boy, that fits nicely. Then, with that done, we're going to go ahead and put this over like this. Can you still see it? Yes. And it wants the cover and I'm sure there's a special way that this goes. Yes, it is that one. So it goes in like that. So with the, there's like on one side it goes up and over right here. And that side is going to be the one that matches the other side. So we're going to take our 4 screws and we're going to put them in. And we're not going to tighten them because they want us to cross tighten. So we're just snugging, not tightening. And even snugging, we're going to put it in crossways. Okay, that's 2. Three. You can try to get it through the plastic as much as possible, but you won't have to turn as much. All right. All 4 of them are in. Get that back over. And now we'll do a cross pattern. Here. So if you can see this, we have 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're doing a cross pattern. Here. 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 And we're just going to check them all. Yeah, and all done. So that is pretty cool how they have the 2 bearings sealed down to the bottom with those 4 screws, and then the 1 bearing on top is off-centered from this entire piece. Right there. Cool. All right, now they want to attach the X motor, and we'll need the X motor parts preparation. Let me go get the X motor. There was 2 motors in there, one of them that were without the Z-axis. This one, which is a bigger, heavier motor. I think it's a little bit heavier than the MK3 or 3 Plus. Very, very heavy motor. And then there's a smaller one in there that I know is going to be for the actual print head itself. Okay, we have the motor. It wants the G216 pulley. And the G216s are the ones with the extra body to them, not the ones with that looks like a wheel, but this one actually has the teeth on it. And there. Here. It also wants M3 by 18 times 3. It wants 3 of these. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. to the motor, we have the GT216 pulley there, and we have 3 of the M3 by 18 screws. It wants 1 M3 by 10 screw. There. And that is all the preparation for this part. Okay, it says insert the M3 by 10 screw into the X end motor. Line it up with the edge of the plastic protrusion. Okay. So the M3 by 10, which is the short one, on the round side, this is the one where we put a M3 by 10 on this side, we put a nut in the center, and there's nothing on this side. What I believe this is going to be for is that this nut right here, as you push it in, is going to push the motor and tighten your belt. So this just actually just sits in there just like that. Now, after that, it wants us to take the motor. It wants us to flip this over on this side, and I'm going to turn it around like this so it matches my picture with the wires on a down angle. Okay. So what we're going to do, since this is uneven, and my screws will be really uneven when they go in there, we're going to get something for this other half to sit on that's about the same height. And I think this cover right here will do it for me. Perfect. All right. So what it wants is to line up the screw holes and drop down the M3 by 18s and just start them. Making sure that you're kind of straight when you go in. Okay. I'm only using the ratchet side of this. I'm not actually turning it with the handle, so I'm not putting any pressure. And this is just to get 3 or 4 threads started. Okay. So place the X end motor on the X motor secured by the 3 M3 by 18 screws. Tighten the screws just slightly. We will adjust them later. It says note the correct X motor orientation, which that's why we turn this whole thing around, so we can have this end right here sitting in the position as the picture illustrated. Also with the power cable pointing down. Make sure the tension screw on the X motor side does not fall out during handling. Okay? So that would probably make it a bad day where we couldn't adjust our motor, and that's still in there, and it's sitting right against the motor right here so that it can push it that way to tighten our belts. Kind of ingenious using a screw to push a screw to tighten. You already have the parts in stock, you're just adding one more screw in there and a nut, and you have yourself an entire system to tighten And it wants to make sure that all three of them are pushed back as far as you can. Because, well, we're going to be putting the I believe we're going to be putting on this on next, the X belt, and that's going to require those screws to be fully loose. Alright, that part is done. Alright, keeping the same orientation as we have it right now, and of course this for you is a way, for me it's in the orientation that the picture is, that you should see on the bottom of your screen. So move this over a little bit so it doesn't fall. And it wants me to turn the motor itself where the flat part is aiming toward me. And take the pulley, put it on here, and make sure that one of the grub screws going on this way, this is down. First on the MK3, when I built that and I did these screws, I did them where I thought that the grub screws would go down toward the motor, but no, they go up. So put that over and make sure one of the grub screws are straight. Okay. Another thing that it wants to do, just like the what was it, the Y motor that we put on, is that it wants this to be flush. So it wants to go across here and make sure that you're just like that, and you're flush across, not too far down, not too far up. I'm sure that's not the right one. Probably going to be this one for the grub screw. No, that's actually too small. And don't forget, the grub screw needs to be pointed right toward the flat part of the motor. Once you get that tight, check it again against your molding here, and that it's right against that. Then turn it and do the other grub screw that's on the round part. So we have at least two grub screws going in. Once you get them both tight, I go back with the other part and give it a little tug. Make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, perfect. And that is on. All right, next part. Guiding the X belt. This is the X belt itself, so we're going back to the same X bag. We have the X belt, and this is the idler pulley and the idler pulley shaft, which is that, and that, and that empties out that bag. It's gone. So put it on this side. That's the idler. And then the idler rod. So it wants me to take the belt out. And these things are going to have a little bit of they want to go back to their form that they were rolled in. They're going to want to do that until this is stretched out quite a bit. But there it is. And it wants us to take part of it and wrap it around this, the teeth facing down, and hold on to it like this. Into the opposite end, I'm going to flip this over. I guess I can put it back down now. Take this back away for now. There's a hole right here. So what we're going to do is put the pulley in there, take the shaft, and then it falls down inside. And there's a little groove in there that it falls into, so it can't come back out. And it can't, even if you turn this over the other way, it's not going to come out. Okay, I'm going to make sure that that fell all the way in, and it went in, it's fine. Make sure that this turns perfectly and easy. It does. Okay, that's all done. All right. So I'm gonna have to turn this over to get how they want me, the orientation that they want this to be in. And not pulling this out because I don't know how I would ever get it back in. They want this to be put into the teeth. So it's not pulling. And put it into the teeth just like that. We're going to take this and we're going to press down on it to make sure the teeth have it completely locked in. Great. Okay. So there's a belt channel that is right here. It's on the very bottom. It goes all the way through this printed part. Okay, just like that. Then it wants us to go in through this portion right here, which will take us out to the motor. And here, I'm going to place it sort of like this. And we're going to get one of the Allen keys out to help it go over the correct location. Like that. So we should still be able to pull it straight through. Turn it around and come back same hole, and it'd be around the belt will be around the motor. All right. When it's done like that, hold it as tight as you can. And then put those same teeth in the opposite set. Take your Allen key and push down to make sure that this belt is seated in the plastic. Okay, so here is the belt going this way around the idler, back around, through the hole, into the other end with the motor, and around the motor, and then back out and back into the plastic again to hold it. And it says again in here, make sure that you push it all the way in with the Allen key. This is place the upper bearing, which I already had in the bearing holder in the plastic, and make sure that it's facing me. Remember, we've marked these bearings. Take the bearing, and where we put the mark, have the mark facing you. That would make the bearings perfectly on the rods here, on the X rods. All right. So what it wants now is to move this side by side to make sure that the movement is smooth. And yes, we have no problem with the movement, even with the motor engaged. Okay. Okay, it wants us to recheck those screws on the bearing clips. Make sure that they are in there nice and tight. Okay. Hey, guess what, guys? It's time for gummies. And also, I've just looked at the clock and we're exactly at 1 hour of recording. And that doesn't include the opening of the show. That's just the actual building part. So I think that's going to be all for us today. And I appreciate everybody joining us here on the bench. I enjoy building these. I believe that sometime in the future I'm going to do a Voron. This is a lot. I like putting things together like this, not just unboxing things and printing and stuff like that, but actually getting your hands in there and tinkering with stuff. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you'd like to see these videos go longer, or is this too long and you need a shorter video, and I'll try to accommodate that. Again, this is Ken with Ken's Tech Lab, and stay awesome.